Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Craggy Brook Witchery, down in the witch's den again. Now, today I'm going to slow it down a little bit because this is such a lovely deck. It's an oracle, and it's called the Fairy Ring. And if you see on the box there, it says that it was written by Anna Franklin and illustrated by Paul Mason. Now, it really is a cute deck. And on the back, it gives you a hint of some of the images. Now, this one shows it borderless, and it's really not a borderless deck. And when I played with it, that really was one of the things that put me off a little bit, was the fact that it had borders. It is a Llewellyn deck, and I believe it was put out in 2002. So it's not a new deck, but it's an oldie and a goodie. It says in the box here that it contains 60 cards and has a 264-page book. Now, when I got this, I spent about a year with it playing, and I really did have fun. But there were certain cards for sure that gave me some difficulties. And I think being a tarot reader, I was also trying to put it into the system of tarot. And looking at it again now, years later, I realized that it isn't a tarot deck. Don't treat it that way. And the very nature of the Fae is that it is playful. And I don't think you can peg it down into something like the tarot. For instance, when I was looking at the book, it does divide the deck. And I'll move this down a bit so we get to see the cards and zoom in. Now, it does divide the deck into spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And I thought, being a tarot reader, I could do, air, wands, cups, and coins. But then when you start going through the book, this is the spring set here, you realize that, yes, the first card here, Ariel, Ace, well, it's a sylph. And that is definitely an air element, as you can see it mentioned in here. And it just didn't continue from card to card. So I couldn't, years later, understand why I was trying to put it into that system. Yes, it does have earth, air, fire, and water, but it seems to be that those are interchangeable in the deck. So for instance, you have the ace there, Ariel, but then you go to the leprechaun. And when you look in the book, that is more earth-based. It has to do with luck and money. And then we went on to 3, and the brownie seemed to have more of a fire energy when I was reading about it. And then 4, it went into almost spirit energy. So it is a deck that you just have to let it be what it is and enjoy it for that. You will notice as we go through the cards that each of the borders change according to whether it's spring, summer, autumn, or winter. What I did like about the book, it didn't matter which card I seemed to get into. Now this one here, the Kruag from the Summer Court. You can see the border has changed here. It's much more floral. And the book does have black and white images inside it, not full color. But how do I explain it here? Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to get to, was that you do get a lot of information, a couple pages here, all about the Kruag. You get divinative meanings, you get reversed meanings, and this deck really does emphasize using reversed meanings. But what I liked was there's always a section at the end of the info on the card which talks to you about working with whatever element is on the card, whether it's a Bogart or a fey creature, and it gives you some ideas of how to work with each one of them. So I thought that was really neat. Now, at the end of the book, you get festival cards. And this goes along with the seasons as well, and you get cards representing each of them. Like, for instance, there is your Imbolc. So you get the card, you get the festival, and information about the festival. There's another whole page here, when it happens, and then at the end you get your divinatory meanings and reversed meanings, but you don't get how to work with each of those the same way that you do with the first initial cards for the 4 different seasons. But it's easy to pick up books. There's another one for Beltane. And it talks about what you're seeing in the cards, and it really does give a lot of information and folklore to go along with it. So that was kind of neat. And at the front, you get 9 different spreads that you can work with. And it does give you the layout, and I really think that they gave good information for which card lands in which spot and things to consider about that. But also they give you in the deck these 4 little cheat sheets, and on the back you get how to do the layout, and then for each of the card positions, little words and clues as to what that position stands for. So you get the fairy market, you get the fairy ring, the fairy oak, and that one was neat because it looks like a bit of an oak tree, and in the book you get more illustration around that, and you get the fairy mound. So all in all, there were 9 spreads in the book designed for reversals for working with the good people. Now, when I was looking at some of those spreads, for instance, the wild folk, and there is the spread for the wild folk. It does say that you remove the festival cards, and there's 8 of those festival cards. So there's 2 of the layouts for reading your cards that you actually don't use the festival cards, but you can in general readings, and I'll show you those when we get to them. And it would be nice to use those cards for each of the festivals and however you wish to celebrate them. So let's jump in and see the cards. We're looking right now at spring. Let's just move in here, take a little peek. Okay, so that's the ace. There's 2, the leprechaun. 3, the brownie. And there is 4. And it really is like the 3 Norns, the 3 sisters, and it gives a lot of information around that in the book. There's your fairy heart or unicorn. So if that was reversed, you would be reading the information around the unicorn instead of the heart. This one came up for me quite a lot, but I love the little caravan in the back. It really is super. Now, I think that's pronounced Azre. So there's lots to look at if you like symbolism. There's Willy Winker. Now, some of the images were, I don't know how to explain it, odd, I guess. They didn't really sit well with me, but the information in the book certainly did. There's number 9, the Pixies. And if you like folklore, this is really nice. The White Lady. Some of them seem a little bit stiff. You do get a lady, a knave, a queen, and a king. Some are done really well with lots of background. This guy, he just breaks me up every time I see him. So now we're going on to the summer. And there's some fire, definitely. You've got the smith, which goes along nicely with wands. I think that's why I was trying to create that within each of the seasons. 3. And it will take a little bit to roll your tongue over some of the words to represent each card. So again, that one is nice. If it's reversed, then you get to read that one. Some are a little bit pretty, some of them are odd, some of them are just weird. This one had a nice storyline to it. Now there's another one that just, I don't know, could have been a little bit better. She looks a little bit too playful and inviting to be Jenny Greenteeth. Classy, that one, the Green Lady. There's Robin Goodfellow. Our Queen and our King. So you get to see what they look like together. And he's the oak man, but it's interesting that the fox is in the background there. So now we go on to autumn. So there is a watery element, but then the Spriggan throws you off a little bit if you were going to follow that system. There's our changeling. The banshee. I just love that word. And when the winds howl around the house, I always say the banshees are screaming. There's another reversible one for sure with the kelpie. 6 Triamore. There's our Lady of the Lake, the Lake Maiden. There's Morgan Le Fay. The Buka. This one looks like a Barbie doll. But I like the king. King Finvara. Really, really nice. Okay, now we go into the winter, hence the mistletoe and things around the border. So these are the knockers. This guy is another sort of interesting character to throw in. The Bogart, he haunted me. He was one of those stalkers. Every time I read the cards, he was there. There's the Grim Reaper. The Fairy Dog and the Black Shuck. Well, the Black Shuck, as I remember, wasn't too good to get. I like this one. This is the Muse, for the poet, for the writer. Didn't mind this guy. He was kind of cool. Another strange card. This is the Unseelie Court. It's like the card where things go bump in the night and beware. The Blue Hag. Almost like the crone. And the changing of the seasons, she represented that. And Jack Frost, that's kind of fun. Queen Mob. Gwynap Nud. So I hope you like fairies. Now we're getting into the Fae Festival cards. I'm not going to pronounce every one of the names. This one I do really, really enjoy. And some of the little characters from earlier cards seem to be popping up in the festival cards. And they are quite fortunate when you get one of the festival cards. If you get a few of those in a reading, it really means pay attention. There's usually quite a few creatures hanging around. If you can look through, they do pop out here and there. Samhain. Isn't that, I think, most witches' favorite time of year? So there you've got your fairy mound. Our Yule card. This one looks a little bit stiff. And that's it. And I'll show you the backs too. So all in all, there's a lot to be learned in the deck. And when you get the cards with the info on working with the energy of each of them, it really is nice. What else can I say about it? It's a good sized deck. It's generous information within the book. And getting 9 spreads to play with, it gives you a chance to pick some of your favorites and learn them and enjoy them. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have the fairy ring, did you try to fit it as well into earth, air, fire, water suits, or were you willing to be open and just let the fae run amok and teach you what it needed to teach you? But I'm going to say have a great day, and I hope there's people out there who would like to show their fairy oracles and what ones work for them. Thanks so much and have a great day.